Annika, can you do me a favor and put your email address in the chat? I didn't copy it down, and so I can't find it. I had that in my notes to make sure I asked you for that.
How are you, Annika? Nice to see you.
I'm concentrating.
She's busy. Her brain's moving in one direction.
Can't handle two things at
Thank
once.
you, Annika.
No, nobody can.
You're not a
That's a human gift. We do one thing at a time and then we do it good.
Oh.
Let's kind of back up on that one for me. Somebody needs to teach me that part, the one thing only.
Well, the journey starts here.
Thanks, Annika.
John, do you know whether Mark's going to be here?
No, I was just going to ask you.
Well, I'm not his keeper.
I talked to him yesterday. He didn't say anything about not being here.
Here he is, speaking of the devil.
And he shows up.
He was having trouble getting out of bed.
I want to have that kind of trouble.
What time zone is he in?
Central, I think. We were just discussing you and sleeping in.
Aha, Darlene, how are you?
Where is Darlene? I can't see her.
No,
It's just a photo and closed.
Darlene, I can't see you because you're just showing a photo.
Yeah, and muted.
Yeah. Sound and video muted.
You want us to see her beautiful smile?
It's all right to come out of the shadows, Darlene. Come on.
Yes, come on.
We all know you're here.
And we promise we won't bite.
And we promise we won't bite.
At least not from this far away.
Yeah, right.
No.
By the way, Darlene,
I'm not the biting type either.
oh, I'm not sure, Annika. You can do it when you want to.
It's just words.
Darlene's from Fort Worth in Texas, and I had the pleasure of having a chat with her. She's a good connection of yours, Mark Newsome, right?
That's right. In fact, I'm hoping at some point she and I are going to do some serious collaborating because she's got all this tax saving strategy stuff going on. It's all unfolding, John, right before our eyes.
Yeah, but see, Mark, the guys don't listen, right? This is what we get told. Guys don't listen. Here it is, right from our mouth. Women don't listen, but us guys are guilty of it.
Before we start, I want to ask this question because my wife convinced me this was true, and God bless her heart and soul.
And why do you ask that, Tina?
Oh, just so I can put it in my notes.
Is it true that ladies can talk and listen at the same time? Because I can't.
Depends on.
Come on, tell me the truth.
We're moms. Of course we can talk and listen at the same time.
That's right. Peter, my screen keeps freezing up. Is anybody else experiencing this, or is it just me?
Just you.
It's just you.
Oh,
it's because it's so cold where you are.
That's what it is.
That's why you're freezing.
Okay, let's get started. Hello, Alan. Nice to see you.
Hi, Peter. Hi, everybody.
Alan, good morning.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. And Bill, welcome.
Good, thank you.
Hello, Bill. I can just see the top of your head. Oh, there you are. All right, let's get started. This is our 5th session of Small Business Breakthroughs. Welcome, everybody. And our topic for today is struggling to attract the right customers. Right? And we've got the likes of John D. Allen and Mark Newsome in the room, who are brilliant marketers, and that's exactly what this is all about. So I'm going to take a little back seat. Well, you know, as much as I can, keep my mouth shut.
No, you're not. That's
Peter,
what you think.
Can I bring something up here?
Yes.
Okay. Word of mouth advertising is very big right now, and it has been for a long time. This is the new word of mouth. And when you stop and look at it, a lot of consumers got burned from marketing and advertising and everything else, right?
Yes.
Now what happens, now before they even look at your service, they go on your phone, they check you out. What do? They tell people about your services, whether you go to a restaurant or whatever you like, right? Your phone is your new word of mouth. Now, what's happened is it's not just over the back fence anymore. It's all over the world. So when you stop and look at it, if you're not using the new supercomputer to your advantage, you are going to have problems.
Yes, sir. So true.
You talking to
Very
me?
well said. Very well said, John.
Yeah. It's, when you stop and think of it, though, word of mouth was always the most powerful advertising, right?
Yeah.
And then for years, it got stopped because all you had was TV, print, and radio. And you were talking over the back fence. Then the cell phones came out with the internet and what have you. Now it's allowed the word of mouth to become very popular again. And because of all the different platforms, think of all the different ways that your business can be promoted through basically your word of mouth. When you put out there that, you know, Jeff Field's got a great program going and people should connect with it or stuff like that, that travels all over the world, all the connections and people repost it and what have you. So be sure you're using your word of mouth advertising.
Excellent point.
Yeah. Sound.
Jeffrey, nice to see you, by the way. How are you, mate?
Effing busy. Super busy.
All right.
Just come up a call. I've got another one in about 30 minutes. But go ahead. I just thought I'd pop in and say hello.
It's okay.
Hello.
You are the busiest marketer online. There's no doubt about it.
Well, isn't that what you're supposed to do? That's all I know. Just
Yeah.
work hard. That's all I know.
Okay, well, our topic's called struggling to attract the right customers, right? And that's all about what you're doing, Jeffrey, Mark, John. You're the marketing experts, etc. But over to you. What are you? Is there any struggling you're having regarding getting the right customers? And if so, what is it? And if you are getting the right customers, share with us. How's it working for you?
We're talking to Mark or to me?
Anyone?
Let's go with you, Mark.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to say this because John just really stole my thunder. But think about what he just said. You know, he said there was a time when it was over the back fence or over the water cooler at work. And women, I give them credit, guys, no offense. They share. They go to a baby shower. They go to a social event. They are letting their peer group know what's in, what's not. You go to the hairdresser, I'm talking about the women's hairdresser, you're going to find out everything. Who's getting divorced? Who's pregnant? Who's got a second job? Who's got a grandchild? All of this stuff. So I'm going to say this just to sum it up and get out of the way. If you do not know how to attract the right customer, look at this screen. Somebody has already figured that out. So go joint venture with them. Partner with them. They've already got the customer. They need them for something else. You could become their back end. They can become your back end. The point is, if you're saying, I don't know how to attract my, that's not an excuse anymore. As John said, there is too much opportunity out here, on or offline, for you to sit here and struggle. If you have money to put into a budget, I would suggest before you put a nickel into traditional advertising, pay-per-click, online, figure out who else already has an in with your desired customer. and partner with them. I'm hoping, you see this lady down here in the corner, Darlene Williams, she's into taxes and stuff. I'm a small business marketing consultant. In my mind, we have some collaboration potential. And I'm going to see if Darlene and I can work it out. But the point is, you got opportunities to partner, because think about this. I might not have the budget to go to the next level, but Peter does. And Peter can say, well, Mark, I'll finance part of your budget because he wants access to my customer base. Man, you got more of this out here and you know what to do with. And Jeff, I really want to hear your take on this, as well as John and Peter's and everybody else. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But my point is, as a marketer, get open up here and watch the opportunities out there start to flourish.
Well said, Mark. Well said. One small tip I'd like to throw on the table, and then it's open to everybody. To me, stop sounding like everybody else. Right? If you want to have your marketing noticed, do what people like Jeff are doing. Right? He deliberately goes out of his way to make sure he's different to everybody else, and he gives time. And you can see now, right? He's got his 15 minutes of fame there. He's doing things that are not generic. He's doing things that are differentiating him from everybody else. And that, to me, is one of the very best ways to attract the right customers. Because if you're doing what Jeff's doing, he's actually deliberately aiming his podcasts at the people he wants to talk to. Pretty simple, right? And very powerful. So hope you didn't mind me saying that, Jeffrey, but it's true. Anyway.
Good to see you, Bill. I haven't seen you for a long while. My Facebook group got hacked, so I probably don't see you at all anymore. I used to see you in my normal group. I saw you all the time.
Alan, you got your hand up? Over to you, mate.
Hi, Peter. Yeah, I just wanted to mention on this subject about attracting the right customers, and as Mark was saying, how to present yourself, how to JV and partner with people. And we align ourselves with local authorities who have a need and an obligation to provide housing for vulnerable and disabled people. So instead of people perceiving us as developers for profit, all of a sudden what we're doing is we're partnering with the local authority to fulfill a need. Obviously, we've got to make profit, otherwise we go out of existence. But by changing the way in which you portray yourself, you can actually get alliances that are beneficial. And I'll give you an example of how beneficial this can be. There are certain schemes which, if you looked at them from a private speculative development point of view, they're non-viable because the residential values are not high enough, and the construction costs are too high, and the finance costs are too high, so they're generally not profitable. But by looking at these schemes from a different point of view, and looking at them from the point of view of 20-year leases and long-term accommodation for people, suddenly sites that weren't viable on a private development point of view suddenly become viable when they're looked at from a social housing point of view. So instead of being against the local authority when you're making a planning application, you're making a planning application as a partner of the local authority. So the local authority want to actually see that site develop to its optimum, because they've got to provide houses for needy people. So there's a little bit of just how you portray yourself as well to attract the right customers. That's all I've got to say. Thanks, Peter.
That's fine, Alan. And we're all with you. I'm hoping all the balls you got in the air right now come down the right way. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, they're still in the air, Peter.
Yeah, that's a story for today. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
You know, one of the things that Mark always talks about is these joint ventures and what have you. And when you stop and look at it, how easy is it for businesses to partner with another business. And it's a win-win. You might have, like Mark said in his one item there, you might have 3 businesses that all partner together. Now, if somebody comes into your business, they get a coupon and they can use it in these other 2 businesses and yours as well. They get a heck of a deal. What that does, now these people are going to go see these other 2 businesses. Again, now your word of mouth, your phone comes in and it says, wow, I got XYZ from these people. What a great deal. And it can generate you hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of business just by going out and partnering with these other people. Jeff is really good at it. He's partnering with a bunch of different people. You know, Alan, they partner with a bunch of different people for their business. I'm sure Annika has done that through her practice and what have you, teamed up with other people. And I know Tina has. So, you know, there's so much opportunity out there that look at other business. You're not an island. You're not going to make it on your, you know, you can make it on your own, but you're going to have a hell of a lot harder time. You know, you stop and think what Mark said, talking about the bling people use in movies. Have these actors or actresses wear it. Give it to them at your cost. They're going to, A, they're going to like it because they got a good deal. But B, they're going to tell everybody. You know, again, it comes back to word of mouth. You get a good deal, you want to tell everybody. You know, one of the things that questions I used to ask when I was selling like advertising and what have you was, who are the first 5 people you're going to tell about this? Oh, well, I'm going to tell so-and-so. Guess what? I just got 5 new leads. Now, one of the things that Peter's brought up before, and so have other people, you know, referrals, people say, you know, they're not getting many referrals. Well, instead of asking for referrals, ask for introductions. You know, everybody knows somebody. And yet when you come to, you know, the insurance salesman, I'll pick on them because they were one of the worst. Who do you know that wants to buy insurance? I don't know a friggin' soul who wants to buy insurance. But if you ask me if I knew the neighbors or anything, that's a different story. So ask for introductions. People will give you an introduction a lot of times before they'll give you a referral. And when you stop and look at it, A, it's the word, but they feel better for giving you an introduction rather than say, well, you got to go see Annika because, you know, she's a great person. Now the insurance guy's going around over there saying, you know, Annika's going to buy a ton of insurance from me. I'm going to make $1 gazillion, rather than, you know, Annika could be, you know, talk to my friend Annika. Oh, okay. All it is, it's an introduction. It's not, you know, the person isn't looking at you to go over and try and sell their friend or whatever. Or the other way, you might give them a name of somebody you don't like. And that's been done before. You know, the person could be a royal pain in the butt salesperson, and they might ask you for some people, and you might tell them, well, you know, geez, go see Joe across the street. He's just a prime target for you. He might be your biggest enemy. Anyways, this person goes hopping across the street because they think it's a hot referral. You know, there's all kinds of ways you can do it. And, you know, again, follow Mark's post, follow Peter's post. Don't follow mine because I don't put any up. But, you know, I'm guilty of that. So, you know, but again, Bill's got some good stuff. Jeff's got good stuff. Everybody's got great stuff. So, you know, by all means, follow through on it. Mark?
If I, before, Bill, let's give me this one little leeway. John, I don't know about Canada, but Jeff, you and myself can remember back years ago, you could not turn on the television between 1 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock in the morning without seeing somebody hawking nothing down, creative real estate, how to make $1 gazillion using none of your own money, investing in real estate. But here's where they were really way ahead of the curve. To piggyback off what John was saying, they would somehow buy these lists. They'd get a list of people who have attended these free workshops, and they would always send you 2 tickets. Any idea why? because they knew a percentage of those people were going to drag somebody with them.
Mhm.
It's the same concept John is just talking about. You go into one business and you get some coupons for the other neighboring businesses. Same concept. Those nothing down people were very, very, very sharp marketers. Now, I'm not condoning some of the courses they sold, okay? But what I'm saying is they knew how to promote. And that's really what we're talking about here. Partnerships can lower your costs, they can expand you, just like what we're all doing here. We could all do our own thing, but collectively, we all, when this thing gets put up on YouTube and wherever else it gets put, we all go in there and comment and share, and then it gets pushed out further and further and further for nickels and pennies on the dollar and for very little effort. That's leverage, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're talking about. Now, Bill, put your spin on it and take this thing home.
Making sure I had my volume on. Anyways, when it, the biggest thing, all of you had, hit it right on the nail as far as, how to attract your audience and where to look for them and collaboration. I'm big on collaboration. I believe in that totally. Plus, you meet somebody who knows somebody else. That's the big thing, It just goes on and on and on. It just, everybody knows somebody, and that's where you really start tapping into the potential of collaboration. But the biggest thing that most people don't do properly on social media is their messaging. They don't get the right message across to their audience. And the audience comes in and has no clue as to what they're doing, and who they are, what they do, and how they do it. That's what they want to know. When they come to your profile, they have to know that. So here's where I step in, and I'm big on branding. I believe that you got to take it. You got the biggest part of real estate on your profile is your cover. And nobody, they have pictures of their dogs and everything else, and they're not using it for their business, and you got to go out there and let people know. Like I said, the three things people want to see when they first are scrolling by is who you are, what you do, and how you do it. If you don't get that attention, tell them those three things, in 3 seconds, they're gone. It used to be 7 seconds on a website, but on social media, it's probably, I wouldn't even doubt that it's less than 3 seconds these days. So, yeah, you got to get and your messaging should be on your cover. It tells people those three things. So you got to get out there, and there's so many ways of attaching with other people. You can go into groups. The people that you want to reach out to are in the groups. The people that are really interested in what's going on are in the groups. They're looking for solutions. They're looking for people themselves. So go into groups, target groups that are specifically aligned to your clientele, and start engaging with them. Engagement is essential. I'm all about engagement. You got to reach out and actually touch someone. So start doing these things, and you'll start seeing action. I guarantee it.
Thanks, Bill. Here's another thing. Some of you have heard of Jay Abraham. He's very big in the marketing, and he's sold billions and billions of dollars worth of products or services. One thing when Jay started, and we could all do it, he went to these companies. He was putting on a seminar. He said, could you give me a list of all your people so I can send them to my seminar? They said, screw you, we're not going to give you a list of our clients. So he said, will you give me a list of everybody that didn't buy? Oh, okay, we'll give you that list. So what Jay did was, this is way back when, he sent all of those people a letter. What he did was he took envelopes and stationery over to the company. They sent it out. He paid the postage and everything. He made thousands of dollars off this seminar from these customers of this other company that didn't buy from them. You know, how many of us have clients that don't buy from us that could buy from somebody else? Do you ever tap into those? You know, how many people share those clients? It's a great resource. You know, Tina, she meets a lot of people, and some of the situations she meets them in aren't the best, but that doesn't mean they don't need help in other areas. So, you know, there could be a possible resource there. You know, Alan runs into people all over the UK that could use our help. I'm sure Dr. Annika does too. I know Jeff does. So there's a ton of different ways out there that you could be attracting people. You know, again, look at the people that don't buy from your team up with one of your competitors. People that don't buy from them may buy from you. Take a look at that idea.
Peter, can I just try and piggyback off what this brilliant man just shared?
Sure. I'm sorry.
Okay.
If I disappear, it's because I got a problem with the internet. What's going on?
Do you remember there was this mega conglomerate, bookstore conglomerate called Borders?
Yes.
They had to take bankruptcy. Now, if I'm Barnes and Nobles, would I rather go out and what's the, this nonsense about it takes between 7 and 21 touches before the average consumer even knows you're there. And if you're a small business, it's going to take more than that and you're going to be out of business. Why don't we do this? Since you're going out of business and you already have an established customer base, why don't we'll joint venture and you'll get a lifetime commission off every one of your customers who buys from us. Is that cheaper? Or would you rather go out here, start from scratch and try and replicate these millions of customers? This is exactly what John is talking about. Dead files. Man, listen. I don't know what episode this is, but if you have not moved off center off of all of these episodes, then you really don't run a business. You got a hobby, because there is more than enough solid content in here for you to move off center in a meaningful way. There's no two ways about it.
By the way, one of the issues that I found works for me when it comes to attracting the right customers is to really show up. I mean, to show up and show up consistently. It doesn't mean you have to show up multiple times a day. It depends on your model, but to show up consistently. And the reason I'm saying that is because, in particular, not in your area, Bill, because you're a Facebook specialist, okay? But in LinkedIn, I don't know whether you're aware of this, but within LinkedIn, there's about 1 billion account holders, right? One with how many zeros is that? 7 zeros, whatever it is. 1 billion account holders, right? Of those 1 billion account holders, and this is fact, less than 1% post at least once a week. Less than 1%. Look at the opportunity you have there in terms of being able to showing up. But even just once a week, you're doing better than 99% of the people on LinkedIn. Think about that as an opportunity. All right? Incredible.
Annika, you're being quiet here. What's your views on this?
I'm not a sales specialist, so I'm listening. And I'm working with what Peter is helping me to see and to model and to do. And step by step, I think I am growing.
With that being said, because you're new into this game, what is working for you?
Before it has more been word by recommendations, but it's not enough. I need a bigger area, a bigger screen. So I wanted to get out a bit more on the internet. And
Well, you've been putting some good stuff out on LinkedIn. Your posts are showing up there.
yeah, working on it. I have a virtual assistant who helps me, and she is really good now. She knows me from a long time, so she's doing things and from my material.
Excellent. Sorry for the noise. The road grader's just going down the road plowing the snow. So some of you folks don't get that good stuff. We're supposed to get another 6 or 7 inches today. So
We can't
Tina,
hear
you've
it.
been quiet.
Good.
You've been being quiet over there, Tina. How about you?
So I was telling Peter before we started this that I am back reading the book Yourself Solid. So this was the topic that I was on yesterday. The red velvet rope. You don't want anybody passing past that red velvet rope that isn't your ideal client. And so when I sat and wrote down my ideal client is somebody you guys don't ever want to meet because they're in distress, they're having trouble, they're not sleeping, they're just in a really bad place. So when I wrote that out, I had to laugh. And so for me to get my message out there, I have been making sure for quite some time that I'm doing my best to stay, that I make my posts on a daily basis. So there's some consistency through all of that. So when my husband died and there wasn't consistency, the fact that I had consistency beforehand that made my sporadic consistency still seeable by people. The algorithms picked it up. Everybody was still seeing it, even though it wasn't daily and consistent that way. So it's super important for us to be consistent with our message and to understand who we're talking to. So our ideal person, and my ideal person, as John well knows, was basically my husband. Anybody that fit into the box that he was, they were my ideal client. And since I put my ideal client, and this is like super important for us to understand, we all think that if we throw a dart at the wall, we're doing good because it's going to hit the wall. But all of those wall darts are not a good fit for us. So we want to narrow it down so it's got a bullseye. And then when we aim at the bullseye, we're going to hit the target. And all of those guys that are on the target are going to be good fits. Even though they're not the target, they're still on the dartboard. So they're going to fit. All of the darts that went off the wall are not our best clients. So we need to make sure that we have our niche narrowed down and we're making our message specifically for that person.
Now, having heard what Tina just said, that most of her clients aren't most of our things, but Dr. Annika there, she deals with stress. So Tina and Dr. Annika can team up because people going through divorce are under a lot of stress. They need help. So, there's a great joint venture right there on the line. And then who knows, they may need Alan if they're over there in England because they might be in distressed and needing a home. So there could be another joint venture there. So again, just because it doesn't sound like they're the perfect fit, they can be. And then, for example, those same people could go to Jeff, get on his 15 minutes of fame, and they may have a business they're promoting and want to get there. Or they could turn to Mark for his great ideas to grow their business. So there's all kinds of ways that people we may not think could be ideal prospects or clients for somebody can actually be that way.
So here's one for you, which I keep forgetting to tell Alan. We would not think that I'm going to have a referral for Alan, but I do. I have somebody in London area who does all of the landscaping for some of the homes and the offices and stuff up there in London. And nobody would think that I'm going to have that. So I need to get that information to you, Alan.
Great. Thank you, Tina. I've put details in the chat there. I'm on LinkedIn, AlanJE Edwards or AlanJE Edwards. Sorry, I can't be certain about that. I'm having an issue with LinkedIn at the moment. But I'm the one who we transform property value. It should come up with my picture, and we transform property value. So that's fantastic that you've thought of me, and yeah, I'll do my best to help these people and let you know how it goes. Yeah. Thank you
I
very
will
much.
just I will connect you via your email to
Okay.
his email. So I'll make an introduction.
Thank you very much, Tina. Really appreciate that. Thank
You're welcome.
Now, just
Friendly.
hearing this one. Now, Tina, sorry, Alan. Tina's a divorce coach. Alan's in property management. Now they're connecting over landscaping.
you.
You know, when you look at those areas that they're both in for business wise, who would put that together? But this goes to show we all know other people, and we all know people that know the people that could use that service. So don't be shy about using the noodle and putting down who do you know?
Yeah.
Because there's a ton of money laying there just in that list.
Yeah, and I and Tina have connected.
Oh, excellent. You know, Bill's another great one. Bill, have you and Jeff connected?
Yeah, we've talked back. Yeah, we've talked back and forth.
You've been on his 15 minutes of fame yet?
No, that I haven't yet.
You
But
know,
that's
make
coming up.
use of it.
When I'm almost in launch mode, and once I'm in launch mode, I'm definitely going to be making a lot of noise.
Good. Good.
I have been on Jeff's 15 minutes, but
Yeah.
it was called the other thing last month.
Jeffrey,
You're muted, Jeff.
can I ask you, Jeffrey, because you've been in marketing for 50 years, right?
Yeah.
Or 50 years plus.
Yeah,
What
I think about it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not being rude. I'm being
No, it's facts. Yeah, I had to think how long I've been doing it for. I'm getting old. I lose track.
What I'm asking you is, of all those years, what is the number one tip you would give when it comes to marketing?
Spend
proven
money. Spend money. Number one, spend money. Invest in yourself. Most people are too effing miserable. That's a sad thing. I used to spend $6,000 a week, and I turned over $5 million because I spent the money. You know, but it didn't happen overnight. I scaled up, and I learned a lot. I'll give you one thing I learned. I was doing $6,000 a week with Google, and I got the figures and the video about all this. I was returning between $60,000 and $100,000 per week, gross, not net, gross, right? Because I had high overheads. However, I wanted to be Hitler. I wanted to dominate, so I went up as high as $10,000. I didn't care. $10,000 a week didn't worry me. I would have gone to $100,000 a week, providing I'm getting a return. What happened when I went to 10? I used to get at 6,000. I used to get roughly 210 leads, give or take by 5 leads. It was really consistent, right? By testing and measuring. However, when I went to 7,000, 8,000, and 10,000, I got 10 more effing leads. I went, shit, there's something wrong here. So we had to drop back and sit in that sweet spot. We couldn't crack the code. We sat in that sweet spot of $6,000 a week because 7,000 didn't do any good, much as we tried. So then I spent that 1,000 doing something like leaflet drops, or I just put the other money somewhere else, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you find, but people, I'm just frustrated with people. We're all experts in our field, and we all come across them. People will just not spend money on themselves. I can help any business to improve, right? Because we're all guilty of it. We've all got faults in our businesses, and me included. However, a lot of people just won't invest in themselves, and that frustrates the hell out of me all the time. But it is what it is.
Good point. Thanks, Marty. Good. Any other thoughts?
What was the subject again, Peter, as such, so I can put my head into it, because I've just come off another call.
The subject was struggling to attract the right customers.
Yeah, so in other words, how do you get them?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And if you are getting them, what's working for you? And if not, what sort of help do you need?
Yeah, well, what works for you? I'd like to know, is there anyone on this call who has not got a Facebook group? If you don't have a Facebook group, you're effing crazy, because that's where your tribe is. Mark, your tribe is there. You should have a Facebook group, and that Facebook group, you educate them and talk to them. They came into your group for a reason. They are your tribe, right? And there's a shitload of money there. And then I find the marketing I do, I find you've got a Facebook crowd. They go, oh, I love Facebook, rah, rah, rah. That's good. And I go, are you on LinkedIn? Oh, I'm not going to go on that shit. I mean, what? You're leaving 50% of the money on the table. And the LinkedIn people say to me, I get it every day, they say to me, I'm not going to go onto Facebook. And I tell them, I show them, I say, my friend, you're leaving a lot of money. I can't tell you how much, but at least 30 to 40% by not being on both platforms. And you can, and guys, there's 20 platforms out there. I understand that. You can't be on them all. Impossible. Be on the main ones you resonate with. You know, people try to drag me over and get me into this thing called school, school. And I said, I'm not going back to school at 77, you know, but funny enough, I've come across a lady, a nice lady, Susan Taylor, if you look her up, she's a smart cookie. She's got a program, $97 a month on school, where she gives a ton of value. So I'm going to school. I'm gonna go and join that, because a piddly $97 a month, you know, I gotta pick up one idea. One idea will pay for the bloody thing for 10 years. You know, so I'm going back to school with Susan. Tell you another one I did the other day, guys. I mean, I got a bit of what they call in Australia, a lot of you guys know, Peter knows it, rat cunning. You know, I left school at 14, I had to survive, so I got rat cunning. I went on a call the other night with one of the world's leading authorities on AI. And listen to this, guys. He's charging $150. You ready? He had 500 people on the show. 500 at 100. I think it's 150 or 100. Yeah, 150. I was going to say 149. Same thing. $150, right? 500 people. Do the numbers on that. And he's doing one every 2 weeks and getting more. It's building more and more, these different subjects, right? Anyway, what I did, I think, this is interesting. So it was 4 o'clock in the morning. And I do what it takes. Most of you go, I'm not going to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, I do what it takes, you know. Anyway, I got up, interesting enough, went to it. It was over 3 nights, by the way. So I had 3 4 a.m. sessions, which I hated. And on the last night, I went to the chat, because he said, drop your details in the chat, like, do you like this, yes or no, or something like that. And I went, yes, 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 yes. I saved the chat, ran it through ChatGPT, got everyone's name, you ready, guys? And said, give me their LinkedIn, please. And it went, and it gave me all the LinkedIn for everybody, or pretty much, when I say everybody, some didn't have one, but in general, I would have got 400 plus. Now, when we've got time, we're busy, my VA will reach out to each and every one of those people, like, hey, I saw you on the show the other day, and I thought it was bloody interesting. What did you think of it? And we'll start the ball, and we'll start the conversation, yeah? And then while I'm on my high horse, I think you mentioned it, Mark, about, or I think Mark or Bill, I think it was you, Mark, about the touch points, you know, 27 and 18, all this bullshit. I say there's 5. I'll tell you my 5. Let's look at my clients coming up very soon. I got a warning, which is good. Here's my 5, right? I want you to all think of yourself as a young lady. You're about 30, all right? You're all 30, okay? And you're a woman. My touch points are this. We're going to have a virtual cup, and I want to date you. We're going to have a virtual cup of coffee, or I want to sell you something. We're going to have a virtual movie, which is the second call. We're going to have a virtual picnic, which could be a third call. We're going to go to a 5-star restaurant virtually. That's a 4th call if needed, right? And finally, I'm going to take you to bed, or I'm going to marry you. Now, if we don't do that within 5 calls, there is no relationship, so there's no more dates. I'm not going on any more dates with you, because I've reached out to you 5 times, right? That's it. Game over. Make sense? So I say maximum 5. I normally don't need 5, but a maximum of 5. So that's my take on the subject matter, Peter, that you were talking about.
Thanks. Okay. Anyone else before we wrap it up?
Peter, let me just share one thing that Bill touched on, and this is so powerful. Can you imagine this? You go spend thousands of dollars on a business card, And all it has on it is your picture and your name. Does that tell anybody what you do? How you can provide service? LinkedIn has over 1 billion people on it, but let's just use 1 billion. 30%, 300 million profiles are exactly what Bill described. Your picture and a picture of the cat or the moon or the tropic. What do you do? Who are you trying to service? 300 million. So anybody that's thinking about becoming a LinkedIn branding guru expert, you got 300 million plus profiles on LinkedIn alone who you could potentially help. And like Bill said, you're talking 3 seconds. If it doesn't jump out of them, that picture of the cow, and they don't somehow make the connection between your smiling face and a picture of the tropics, they're gone. So you have to know how to get on message, people. That's why we're here, because that's what we do.
On that subject, Mark, and Peter knows more than me on that subject, but there's at least 2 people, Peter, that we know that do that, exactly that. One being, is it Michael Griffith? And the other one being Alan Houlihan. They were 2 guys who dig in deep on LinkedIn and teach it.
Adam, definitely. Michael is more in the referrals area.
Yeah, but with LinkedIn a fair bit, right? He's using the LinkedIn concept.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Yeah, and there's probably others, but it's a job in itself, Mark. It's a niche, because basically you're getting a person saying, "I'm going to polish you up. I'm going to, you look like a tramp at the moment. I'm going to polish you up and make you look like a business person." And super important, as they say in the classics, first impressions count. And for a lot of people, they do.
I don't care how sharp this crew is. Nobody on this thing right now can put their picture up and a picture of some irrelevant thing, and the audience is going to know what you do. It's just not going to happen.
Good point. Good point. All right. Anyone else? Final call?
Darlene, come on out.
Okay. Well, here she is.
Darlene, she's up.
Darlene.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you all are. Thank you for the invite, Peter, and thank you for the call out, Mark. I'm just here listening. This is my first meeting. Peter invited me, and I'm just glad to be here picking up some nuggets on how to actually align myself with the perfect customer.
Talking about that, Darlene, are you on Alignable?
I am, and I'm not active there.
Well, then, Darlene, you're going to talk with John.
It can be a very valuable source. There's over 1 million people on Alignable, and it's just North America. So you got you don't have to go overseas. Now, the overseas market is great, but Alignable can be very good for you. You can ask Tina about that, and she does a great job on Alignable. So there's a lot of possible connections for you there as well.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It doesn't take Europeans.
Not right now.
It certainly doesn't take people in Thailand either.
You couldn't crack it, Peter?
No, we tried. My goodness, we tried. We even using VPNs and email addresses that were registered in the United States. No, they wouldn't accept it.
No, you would have thought that would have worked, wouldn't you? They're not that clever, but you would have thought that would have worked.
Yeah.
The 2 guys that started it actually used to work for LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's probably a LinkedIn concept.
Yeah, it's modeled after LinkedIn. So, but Darlene, it can be a very valuable source for you to look into.
I appreciate that, John, and thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Just a
So
thought.
here's
Go ahead, someone.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Peter, there's another group out there. It slips my mind at the moment, but the guy claims that he's the answer to LinkedIn. I think you know the one I mean. It starts with M. It just escapes me for a moment because I'm an old man. It's not Meetup or something, but you know what I'm talking about? I got no idea. It's another group, and the guy. It's a spin-off of My Most Trusted, something like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
my
yeah.
most trusted.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
I know
yeah.
very little about that. Is that worthwhile or?
Scott Trudel,
Yeah,
he's
he
got
talks too
he's
quick
got a
for me.
lot of great people there, and
Yeah.
that's an introduction service.
Yes.
That's how you really make use of his deal. It's introduction. I think it's $10 a month for his to belong in his group.
Yeah, cheap if it works. That's peanuts if it works, and then maybe I got the time to understand it. But there's the old story. There's some merit in everything. We've just got to have the time and resources to focus on the right ones.
The one thing with using My Most Trusted is you're coming in on using somebody else's name.
Yes.
So, that's giving you some credibility.
Yeah, I like it. I like the concept.
Yep. And he uses the linked format. It's just his way he put a group together to make it more effective.
The only issue I've got with it, and I used My Most Trusted, but my LinkedIn account was closed down when I started using My Most Trusted.
Yeah.
Somehow or other, one of the factors in terms of the terms and conditions of working with LinkedIn, you've got to be very careful. Okay, and I'm not saying My Most Trusted is not good. All I'm saying is if you use it like any other third-party tool, be very careful, because LinkedIn really is a very difficult animal to play with because their customer support is woeful.
Yeah, correct.
You have your account paused in any way because they think there's an issue with the use of third-party tools, because like every other platform, they want to keep you there. They don't want you to go anywhere else, right? And with My Most Trusted, they're using LinkedIn in the right way possible to introduce Tina to Alan or to Mark to Darlene, whatever it may be, right? And so you guys get off and talk to each other, but LinkedIn doesn't want that. They want you to stay on there and talk on there. And that caused me an issue with LinkedIn. And if you ever have a problem with LinkedIn in terms of your account being limited, mine was limited for 6 months.
Yeah,
right?
Unbelievable.
6 months. And the customer service is absolutely woeful.
Equal to Facebook.
Well, Facebook's not much better, is it?
No, zero. Bill will tell you nothing.
Yeah.
They don't want to,
Anyway,
quick one.
I don't end on a negative note. But My Most Trusted is fine. Just be very careful how you use it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying too.
Actually, I actually found a way to get a hold of somebody on Facebook. I have talked to somebody, believe it or not, several times.
Imagine talking to
There
God.
is a back door. There is a back door. It's not easy it changes too. So you gotta kind of play around to find them.
Yeah. Anybody here using Sales Navigator?
I was using, but I'm not at the moment, Jeff.
Yeah. What about yourself, Mark? Still using it today? Yeah, like it?
I'm still learning how to implement the thing.
Yeah,
I'm
me
a
too.
newbie.
Me too. Yeah. I was on there before, didn't like it, and I decided, well, go with the herd. I'll come back because they did a deal recently, 2 months for buy 1 month get 1 month free or something. It's about $110.
Yeah.
And we're having a bit of luck with it now. It's starting to work for us, but you got to niche down a bit, So we can have a chat about it one day if you like, Mark. I'll share my screen. And
We'll have to talk, my friend. You took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I was going to mention this. I'm a member of NRG, which is a networking group that doesn't work like any other networking group. And they're all virtual now. And I just started the one here in South Carolina. And it is a point where you were given a base like South Carolina, but you can go to all of them throughout the United States. They're getting them started in Canada. And so you can go and network with the people there. And it's done more like a mastermind group, kind of like this. He does what's called a pinball, where you talk about the people you serve,
Like
the
it.
people you want, and go through all of that. So if you want any more information, I could tell you.
Tina, could you put a link in the chat for us on that?
Yeah, I'd love to know, Tina, likewise. Tina, how many people go to a meeting approximately? Would you say 12 or more?
Oh, yeah. It depends on where you're at. Like I go to the Philly one, and I just went to the Denver one yesterday, and there's at
Yeah, cool.
least 12, 20.
Yeah, not bad, because you need
And you can go
you need
all over to all of them.
yeah, you need 12, in my opinion. You need 12 because for me personally, I'm only going to resonate with 4 of them. You know,
Right, right,
so
right.
that's why I need the 12.
All righty. Well, look, thank you, everybody, very much indeed. By the way, before we finish, would anyone be interested in an AI-driven referral process?
Unpack it a bit more.
I will in about a week.
All right.
I'm meeting with someone in about 3 or 4 days. But it looks, and it's free, by the way.
Mhm.
We'll see what it's all about. If it's worth it, I'll share it here. I'll put it right
Yeah,
here for you.
the magic word.
Are
A
you
lot of
sure
people's
it's
free.
free or it's free to enter and then they hit you later?
No, it's free, and it's free, but you
Okay.
actually can have a pro version as well.
But there has to be some type of upgrade. Nobody gives it
Yeah, I
away
just said that. There's a
totally
pro
free.
version as well. You don't have to take it.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can.
Yeah, you don't have to take it, right?
By the way,
It limits you to how much you can use. Right?
yeah. That's
well,
fair enough.
what I want to do is find out what does the pro version do, because I'm interested in the pro version, not the free version.
Absolutely.
All right, that's what I'm on about. And I can't answer your question, Jeff, until I have a conversation with him. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. But I'm just saying that one of our topics coming up should be on introductions and referrals. When we talked about lead generation before, but I think this is a topic we can do a whole lot more on. That's my gut feel anyway. And thanks, Tina. I can see it in the chat there, nrg.online. Okay, good.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, if you're interested, just let me know. So
Okay, take care, everybody. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, John. Thank you,
take
Mark.
care.
Bye-bye.
Everybody.